Hey guys, Jed was bored here for our second anniversary review. Today we are revisiting my first full set of Transformers, the core Dinobots, and then after 2 long years, we are finally going to be doing a Volcanacus review. Once again, a big thank you from everyone for supporting me these last 2 years. Enough stalling, let's get into it. Alright, first up here, just like in the old videos, we have Swoop. He is probably one of the better Dinobots, if not the best. He's got full range of posability. His head goes all the way like that for transformation. He's got at the elbow swivels, but it's a core class, what do you expect? And something I didn't realize originally, he has a waist, which I think is very impressive that they managed to slip that into something this small. And a real thigh swivel, all that, and very good knees. The wings are also opposable, but there's not much you can do with that. For guns, he comes with these two little just, I think they're like seeker guns, that's what I call them. And they connect together to become the hand of Volcanicus, which you will see later. Yeah, overall, he is probably my personal favorite of the figures, all that. As for transformation, to no one's surprise, it is very basic. So you flip the head up, flip the chest up, straighten the arms, flip out the wings, connect the legs down the middle, fold the legs up, and peg the hands into the thighs. That's the entire transformation. I'm not a huge fan of how much the feet stick out of the top. I mean, I get that that's how it's supposed to be, but just, I feel like they could have put it down a little bit more. He does have like the dinosaur feet there, so he's sort of able to do the sit thing, but it's too hard to mimic the looking thing. That looks horrible. And as for the guns, they peg right there into the wings. Again, it's a core class, so they couldn't really do everything that they had to do with it. But, you know, it's still a really fun toy, and as I said, my favorite of the Dinobots. Alright, next up here we have Slug. He's one of the alright ones. His hands are just way too short, and he doesn't have elbows. But other than that, he's Again, he also has a waist, pretty far knees. My one complaint with him is for some reason he just doesn't stand very well, unless you get him like a very split-legged. He does have head posability, though. It's really funny with the giant chunkin' thing clicked onto his head. He comes with this little gun thing, which is also the head of Volcanicus and some other stuff. For transformation, you flip his hands like that, flip his chest thing up, flip that back like that, clip his feet together, fold up, fold back, and then take the tail and just chuck that on. Something like this. He's a chunky little guy. He's got decent posability in each limb. And the mouth opens, which I think is really nice. He's the only one with an opening mouth, I believe. Provided it does look very goofy, but opening mouth, you know. He's a pretty fun one. I'd say he's about middle of the road. And now time for probably the worst of them all. Sludge. There we go. He's got head, he's got waist, you know. But, like, his legs are just weird. Like, why does he have all this stuff? I get it's, like, for transformation stuff, but it still just looks really bad. And that, yeah. I have no idea what they were thinking when they made this figure. It just is the worst. It also doesn't. It's also the only one that doesn't come with a gun. Anyway, transformation. Remember the transformation. So you spin the waist. You flip the arms up like that. Head flips like that. Then you flip the legs in right around there, and you get this Chonctimus Prime that doesn't sit well at all. There we go. Yeah, this thing's just a brick. It is definitely the worst of the 6. Yeah. Not much to say about this one. Get this out of my sight. Alright, next up we have Scar. He also has some trouble standing up, but he's pretty cool. He's honestly almost identical to Slug in almost every way, except posability. Or in non-posability, vehicle mode and transformation. Like, this is transformation. You fold the arm, you be able to push them together. That's a big problem with it. There's a lot of trouble pushing them together. Flip up the head. These are normally down. Then you flip down. You flip the waist. Flip the arms up. Flip the legs down. There's a chunk on the tail. And here, he's just a cute, chunky little guy. And he's better than Sludge because he has actually moving legs. So yeah, this guy feels a lot like a cross between Sludge and Slug, and it works really well. I really like how that looks. Alright, next up we have the incredibly rare one, Snarl. And no, I have no idea why he was so rare. He's another one with really good posability, like elbows, knees, not ball jointed knees, but he doesn't have a swivel, but he's still good. He actually stands up. He does parts form with that, which is really annoying, but what are you gonna do? He's the one who comes with Volcanacus' sword. Yes, that's the entire sword. His transformation is okay. Let's see. You flip the arms up, you flip this, the dinosaur head is in the legs. You flip the tail bits down. Oh no, this isn't the step one where you have to parts form. Or it is, but you only have to parts form for the other mode. You put those in, and then there's these little tabs there that those holes slide into, so you just force that on. And, yep. No, that's not where it goes. It goes right. There, it goes on the bottom. There we go. And there we have Snarl. Once again, he has no posability whatsoever, which is really annoying, but I don't understand why this guy was so high demand. He's okay at best. Yeah. Last and certainly not least, we have Grimlock, King of the Dinosaurs. This guy, no, he's okay. He's the only one with a wrist, but at the cost of his elbows, which they could have done double jointed. That would have been cool. He's got ball joints everywhere, as usual. His head is posable, and on my copy it's really loose for some reason. Then this is his gun, which you saw. It's chunky, because it becomes his tail. Now, for speaking of tail, for the transformation, you flip that up, and if you don't have a weak copy, that flips up as well. You collapse that around the head. Flip out the hands. Connect the 2 feet. They don't split in half. They pop up. You stick the gun there. And Grimlock. Not super posable, and he can't stand on his own without his tail, which is weird, but there. He was the first of the Dinobots I got, so that's why he was reviewed last. Plus, if you remember the order from 2 years ago, that's the exact order I filmed him in. But yeah, he's good. Really just serves as the foot. And speaking of the foot, who's ready to see Volcanicus? Alright, we're going to be filming like this so I can get everything in one shot. So we're going to start with all of them in dinosaur mode, except Sludge for some reason. And let's get started. Let's build them up, like usual. Alright. Grimlock. Everyone knows Grimlock. You take the feet, flip them like that. You fold the feet forward, so he creates this shape. You split him down the middle. Fold the head and fold all that down, so he's just that. Then you take this, flip it around, peg it in there, and there's the first foot. Snarl. Take off the sword. Take off the backpack. You're going to take him. You're going to do most of the same things. Flip that up. Open these up to flip the head inside, and these peg back into that. Then these flip forward. Yes. They peg right there. And these parts pegging right there. Then you take this and yes, you peg the holes right in there. Take the sword, drop it right there, and that is 2 legs done. We will now build the torso. So we take these two. We're going to start with this guy. I'm going to flip that leg like that like that. Same for the second side. Then just flip his arms like that, and that part is done. We take the we take this guy. We pull that out. Flip. No, this isn't the one that sits comfortably. Flip them like that. Then, oh no, there's one thing. We take this, pull this out, there's the head, and there's this bit. Take this bit, drop it right there, right there. One last thing I forgot, we pull this up, and there's this little tab here, that we tab right there. Just tab that right in. Then those three those three pegs, they go right in there. Just make sure all that clips in. Then we take this hole and put it right into that peg. Same for the second side. We take the head. We backtrack because our heads are hollow. We open that up. Then we put that down. Then we put that in. Then we put that in. Then we put the head right there. And we put the feet in right there. And there we have Volcanacus. Almost. 2 figures left. Alright, 2 more. We'll start with a Scar because he's easier. We pull that out. We peg everything in nice and tight. We pull out the arm. Flip this around so it's on the outside. Take this. Peg that in right there. That's one arm. Take this one. Do very similar things. Oh. Rip off a wing because it's a friction pin. Make everything look nice and clean. Pull this out. Take the 2 guns. Shove them together. And pin in right there. Then from there we peg that right there. And that right there. And here we have Volcanacus in his final glory. Alright, here's a good sense of scale for the figure. He's a little bit taller than Megatron. Well, it's only the shoulders that make him taller. And then he is much shorter than Leader Grimlock. Which is a really good way of how I like to describe this guy. He's a deluxe quality Voyager you paid Leader price for. But he becomes 6 different dinosaurs, so he's completely worth it. His posability, you can kind of fake elbows with these, which is pretty nice. I wish there was wrists, though, which I mean, that's probably just me reaching, because obviously there can't be wrists. And that fell off. He also has a waist and kind of rough legs. But, I don't know, he can stand at least. I will say it is very creative what they managed to do with the core price point. But he's definitely not the best combiner. So, do I recommend him? I can't really recommend him because, as my friend Snow Raven can tell you, Snarls just doesn't exist anywhere. I don't know how I managed to get him, but I got him. So, yeah, that's my look at Volcanacus. He is a very loose hand. He's a pretty okay combiner. Definitely, I'm not complaining that he was my first ever combiner. He definitely could have been better, but, you know, it's still cool. Thank you for watching this, and thank you once again for supporting me these last 2 years. And I'll see you guys in my next video.